first see these animals and what you can look at a horse and say, I think this horse is at least fit, ready, or whatever today?
Sure. The walking ring, the paddock, to me, it can be summarized in just one word, and that's attitude. It's the attitude of the horse in the ring that counts. Add to that possibly just his overall well-being. Let me give you a little analogy. You know, in a big boxing match, particularly a heavyweight fight, if a heavyweight boxer is coming back from a layoff, the key thing the whole audience is waiting for is when he disrobes. When he takes that robe off and they can see his physical condition. You'll hear all these so-called experts in the crowd, he's carrying too much weight, or gee, isn't he on the muscle? He's ready, he's going to fight a good one tonight. Same thing with the racehorse. When they bring him out of that saddling enclosure and he walks in the paddock, it's that overall impression that you're looking for. Now, that might be easy for me to say and for any horseman who's been around horses for a long time, but to our basic fan out there, he's going to say, well, I don't know what to look for in a racehorse. I know what to look for in a human being. So I would just pick out a couple of salient facts to try to offer them some hints. First of all, I'd start off with the ears. I think the ears are probably one of the most important factors about a horse's attitude. You do not want one ear going this way and the other one there, and they just kind of flopping around saying, well, do I have to go through the routine again this afternoon? You like them to both be propped forward and to take in what's going on around them. It could be horses are colorblind, but let's say there's some particular person in the crowd who's wearing something that just catches a horse's attention. Maybe somebody shouts something, and you'll see this horse look at them, and he must concentrate his attention on them and kind of watch them go by and then turn around and pick up something else. That, to me, is probably one of the most important things in the ring. What he is doing to the bit, what his mouth is doing to the bit is very important. You don't want him just walking around there with this steel thing through his mouth and he's saying, gee, I wish they'd take this thing out of my mouth. You want him to be chewing on that bit saying, I wish they'd get this thing away so I can really show them what I can do. The hindquarter section is very important, up just by the horse's rump. It's really got to be shining. You should almost be able to comb your hair on his rump, really. It's got to have a glisten to it. If it's not, he's not been well fed, he's not fit, he's not ready to roll this afternoon. The actual glistening on the horse's hindquarters, you're probably just going to have to look at horses and learn the difference between one that doesn't look good and one that does. The best example I could give for anybody out there who doesn't know what to look for is go down and watch the horses in the feature race, particularly if it's a graded race. Look at a grade 1 field very, very hard. Don't worry about betting the race. Look at the horse flesh that you're looking at and get that image in your head, and then go and take that. And when you see that image in a $10,000 or $32,000 claimer, you know this horse is fit and ready to roll this afternoon.
That's your guy, yeah. Now the jockey is put...
First mission. All right. Get a picture of this one. Settle down, baby. Go, Johnny! Johnny! Go. Yeah. People who work here. They work for the trainers. Show what you got. Show a little barrel.
What do you look for there as far as movement?
It does depend on the individual horse on that particular instance. All I would say is if you want to wager a horse and he comes out in the post parade and he's looking a little dour, he's looking not very interested, don't not bet him at that stage. Watch him warm up on the backstretch because they often do perk up down that backstretch. You don't want a real lifeless horse, but if a horse just looks okay and you're sitting on the fence not know whether to bet or not, watch him warm up on the backstretch. You want his head to be tucked into his chest where the rider's got a nice good hold of him, and you want again that image that he's really full of fire today. He'll probably stick up close to that pony, just that same calming influence that he will give to him, but he's got to project that image of power on the backstretch. You don't want him just to lope along, the rider stands up, he's got that long loose rein, and this horse is just kind of clappity down the backstretch, almost keeping pace with the pony. You don't want that. You want his head tucked into his stomach, and that once this guy lets me loose, I'm really going to strut my stuff out there.
What about sweating that a horse does on the way to the gate?
99.9% of the time a very bad sign, sweating. There will be horses that do win that sweat up. Again, it pays. If you're really going to get serious about it, you should know each individual horse, because there are horses that will sweat up just about every time they go to the gate, and they will win races, but those are really the exception. Overall, for just the player who's going to go out on the weekend and take a look at a horse, horses that are sweating are no good. One of two things. They're either just not fit enough for that afternoon's race, or otherwise they're just not mentally prepared for that race, and they get themselves into such a tears that they start sweating. It's the same with a person. If a person knows that he really can cope with something, he'll start sweating, he starts getting all agitated, and he can't cope with the situation. Any little thing goes wrong, he's going to burst out in a fury. It's the same with the horse. He's all agitated. He's like, I don't really want to be out here. I'm not in the mental condition to go into that starting gate and run. And you'll see a lot of the times when a horse is sweating badly, he'll lean on the pony. He'll actually lean on him like that. It's almost like, I'm very nervous, I'm scared, I do not want to run this afternoon. So those two things do go together. But sweat, 99.9, take them out.
I get that way going to the window just a bit. I break out in sweat.